Hey everybody, Mr. Moore here. Happy Monday and welcome to our Powdersville Elementary School flipped faculty meeting for January 11th. We thought this would be a good idea considering we know everyone's busy to give you an opportunity to have some flexibility as to when you watch this and when you listen to this important information. I'm using an app called TouchCast. It's a free app, it's easy to use, and it offers a lot of flexibility for recording of videos and presentations. So I'd encourage you to maybe try to find a place and time to fit that into your instruction. I want to thank Ms. Preissig and Ms. Tollison for helping me get this together. They did the majority of the work on this. I'm just doing the talking here on my end. The cool thing about this is that, like I said, there's a lot of options that you can choose from. For instance, different camera views like this. So we'll go ahead and get started with our faculty meeting. And to do that, I'm going to go ahead and go full screen mode because you don't need to see my ugly mug anymore. So let's get started with our faculty meeting for today. First of all, I want to mention copies. In talking with Patty and looking at our budget information, we pretty much have already spent in half of a year what we spent all last year in terms of our per copy costs. That's understandable to an extent because we have grown and added more positions, but it's still a concern, and it means we're going to have to be very careful with the amount of copies that we make. And I know you do that, but I want to encourage you as a staff to please consider what you're making copies of and what you're printing using the printers in your classroom. Every time you print something, we get charged for that, and we pay that with our local money that we have. The district doesn't help us out too much with that. Also want to encourage you that if you need to make a lot of copies, print something out in your room and then go make all the copies using the risograph machines in the teacher workroom. The risograph count, for whatever reason, is down, and I think that's probably because people are using the printers in their classroom. But if you have big print jobs, try to use those risograph machines if at all possible, and that will certainly help with our copy costs. That definitely is a concern for us going forward for this second half of the school year. Want to mention to you, and you already know this, that we have the end of the 9 weeks coming up on Wednesday, January the 13th. All grades are going to be due in the computer in Power Teacher by 8 a.m. That's on Tuesday, January 19th. Patty will go ahead and print verifications first thing Tuesday morning. She'll get those in your box. And I want to take a moment here to stop and remind you that you need to check these verifications very closely and catch any errors. The reason for that is once grades are stored, and you can see that the next day on Wednesday, January 20th, once grades are stored, it becomes much more of a chore and more time consuming for us to make changes. So please double check those verifications carefully. As you can see, we'll go ahead and print report cards the next day, on Wednesday, and then we'll go ahead and pass them out to students on Thursday, January 21st. And so you've got grades being stored the morning of the 20th. After they're stored, we'll print the report cards. We'll send them home the next day on that Thursday, and hopefully we'll get the majority of them back signed on that Friday, the 22nd. So those are your end of the 9 weeks reminders. Ms. Tollison has sent out an email earlier, and I believe I included in our last blog. We, as a district, have gone totally over to ASOP in terms of charting and tracking employee leave time. So it becomes very important that we enter appropriate and accurate information into the ASOP system. As a matter of fact, everybody in our building, including custodians, is now reporting information in ASOP in terms of leave days and absences. The only person that's not is me, and that's because I have to go directly through Mr. Havard. So just quickly going through this information with ASOP. Again, we're already expected to start using ASOP. That started when we returned on January 4th. It is imperative that they're entered in accurately. Remember that you use your annual days. I believe that's option A. and then you'll want to select the appropriate type of day, if it's a full day or half day, AM, half day, PM. The system does default to needing a sub, so if you're in one of those positions that a sub is not required, or you've already cleared that with Mrs. Tollison or myself, then please make sure you change that to no. Otherwise, the system will start to call to find a sub for you. Patty's going to continue to place absence forms in your box for at least the remainder of this school year. All employee login information is in your PVES 2015-2016 teacher folder. And then reading professional development days will be entered in by Mrs. Tollison. She'll take care of that for you, and I believe she's already started to work on that for our February PD sessions. Give you a quick testing update. This has been interesting, and we've gotten a lot of information about testing here lately. 5th grade is testing online for SC Ready only, and that means that we have a window from April 19th to May 6th in which we will create a schedule. Actually, we've already created that schedule, and we'll run that by 5th grade next week. It will be done online. We'll use both computer labs. 3rd and 4th grade, obviously you will paper pencil test. That's April 26th, 27th, 28th. It's also included in the blog for you to remember. And then, of course, the tests are ELA Day 1, which is more of a writing, ELA Day 2, more of a reading, and then mathematics. There are open-ended questions. There's traditional multiple choice. There's selected response items. And there's some specific types of questions that we'll show you, and we'll get into that at a later date. It is not timed, hallelujah, after what we went through with ACT Aspire. It's not timed. And this is the important thing, I think, to remember. It's 100% aligned to our new college and career readiness standards. So if we're teaching the standards, we're going to be in good shape. Cut out the fluff and make sure that we're teaching what we need to be teaching in those standards. And you guys do a great job of that. Continuing on, science and social studies pass. Grades 4 and 5, we'll take that. It is paper pencil. It is also untimed. Science does include field test items for the 14 science standards. May 11th is science. May 12th is social studies. And the makeup window runs through May 19th. Obviously, 3rd grade is not being tested in science or social studies. And interesting to note that it looks like in the future, based on the way things are headed, that social studies may not be tested at all, and science may only be tested in one of our 3 grade levels. And so we'll have to adjust to that, but that's what it looks like right now for the future. EAFK reminder, we have sent letters home to those parents of those students who are being honored. Obviously, our virtues are honesty and compassion. You see the schedule there in front of you. We'll want to adhere to that schedule. We were cutting it close with several sessions, several ceremonies last time, and so we want to make sure we stick to that and get people in and out. Make sure that you take a moment to email or call parents to confirm that they did receive the letter that we sent. We have had parents in the past, for one reason or another, that didn't receive the letter and they didn't know about their child being honored. So please make sure you do that and get confirmation that they received the letter from the front office about their child being recognized. January is School Board Appreciation Month. We will be purchasing a book for our library in honor of one of our board members, and we'll actually present that information at the January board meeting. Miss Melissa Hood actually is one of our Pattersville representatives on the board, and she certainly supports us and does a great job, and we're very thankful for her. We'll also go in with concrete and purchase a gift card for her favorite place to eat. We'd love it if any class wants to take on the task of writing some thank you letters to our school board. We certainly would love that, and we'll deliver those personally. And any other way or idea that you have to recognize our school board in Anderson School District 1, please let us know and do so. We're very thankful for our school board. They are extremely supportive of you and our efforts in the school building, and that certainly does not go unnoticed. Very quick picture information. Class pictures are coming up. We want to make parents aware of that, so get that out in your newsletter and text messages. And then we are going to have our staff yearbook picture, and that is tentatively planned for Wednesday. That's Wednesday the 13th. We're going to ask you to wear your school shirt, your blue school shirt. You certainly wear blue jeans on that day, and we're going to meet right after dismissal at 3:10 at the Lion mural in the hallway, and everybody needs to be there so we can take a staff yearbook picture. If we have to change that date for one reason or another, we will let you know, but that is the tentative plan for the yearbook picture. January 15th, staff development. We've received a lot of questions about what that agenda will look like, and so here you go. We will have a general meeting at 8:30 in the professional development room that should take approximately 30 minutes. We'll provide a breakfast with coffee and juice. Please bring your iPad and laptop to that. Fifth grade is going to meet with us immediately following the general meeting with everyone, hoping to be around 9 or 9:15 in the professional development room. That is specifically to talk about testing. And then for everyone, the remainder of the day is in your classroom. Lunch is on your own. We do have some suggestions that we'll make, and that would be to update your website and then to review and evaluate any of the science and reading materials that we'll have out in the teacher workroom. Advanced Ed. The next 5 to 7 weeks will be Advanced Ed heavy for many of us who are committee chairs, but we want to let you know that we will have some opportunities to discuss Advanced Ed. A couple of things, as you see on the bullet points there. We have many of our websites, teacher websites, that need updating. We have information that hasn't been updated in 4, 5, 6 years in some cases, and Mrs. Tollison will be emailing teachers directly to let you know what you need to have updated on your website, and then certainly on our school website we'll have some information we certainly need to update as well. I'll be working with the committee chairs here in the coming weeks on completing the narratives for our various standards. Standard 5, which deals with data, we'll need to wrap up some conversations and look at some more data. The deadline for us to turn all this in the computer is February 21st, and as you know, that will be here before you know it. So be prepared to hear a lot about Advanced Ed and to help out when you can. That concludes our flipped faculty meeting at this point in time. I want to thank everybody for paying attention. This is a wonderful tool, TouchCast. It's been easy to use. I hope everybody has a great week. Let us know if Ms. Tollison and I can help you in any way. And thanks for all that you do. Have a great week.